Colorado loses again. Tonight they lose 28-16 to UCLA. There's a lot of things that I got to say about this game, man. First of all, like we've seen all season long, Colorado's offensive line got freaking manhandled. And after this game, Shedeur Sanders is probably going to need to file for disability, and he's going to need a hover round because every single time he went to drop back to throw, he was getting hit. The defensive line was right there in the backfield. And there were many Buffalo fans who were calling for Sean Lewis to get fired during this game. And my response to that was, what do you want to do to call on offense? There's only so much you can do when your offensive line just freaking sucks. And the Buffalo's offensive line is more than sorry. It's abysmal, okay? And when you have this bad of an offensive line, you can only call so many quick screens and slant passes until the defense starts to play up and forces you to have to throw the football downfield. And Colorado did have a little bit of success when they tried to throw the football downfield. You had the big play to Xavier Weaver. You also had the touchdown to Jimmy Horn. But outside of those two plays and that pass interference call that Xavier Weaver got in the second half, Colorado was unable to really get the vertical passing game going. And that's a big part of Colorado's offense. When Colorado's offense is at their best, they're able to generate a lot of big plays downfield. But you're not going to be able to have success doing that if your offensive line only gives Shedeur 1.8 seconds to throw the damn football. Literally, he'll get the snap and the defensive line was right in his damn face. Now, UCLA has one of the best defensive lines in all of college football. They came into this game top 15 in pressure rate. So we already knew that this was going to be a long afternoon for Shedeur Sanders, but this has to be the worst performance that this offensive line has had all season long. And they've had some pretty shitty performances, but this performance against UCLA takes the cake. And it only gets worse from this point forward. You got to go up against Oregon State, who has a really good defensive line. You got to go up against Washington State. It's really hard to see this offensive line playing any better than how they have had the whole entire season. This is one of the worst offensive lines that I've ever seen in all my years watching football, okay? And for the people who want Sean Lewis to get fired, it doesn't matter who's calling the plays on offense. If you can't win up front, you're not going to win too many football games. Football is won and lost in the trenches. Now, I picked Colorado because I thought that they would at least be able to have a little bit more success than what they did in this game, winning on the perimeter. But UCLA secondary played a really good game. And these wide receivers had their worst performance of the whole entire year. Scramble drill. Shedeur Sanders is outside the pocket. They teach you in Pop Warner, when your quarterback is running outside the pocket, you're supposed to follow him and come back to the football. So why is it that Shedeur Sanders is rolling to his left and you got wide receivers, instead of running with them, they're running upfield? I don't know who this wide receiver coach is, but he needs to do a better job at implementing in these wide receivers' minds that when Shedeur Sanders is on the run and he's trying to improvise to follow him and come back to the football. And whoever's the offensive line coach, Coach Prime needs to give that dude the pink slip. I'm not somebody who normally comes on here and calls for people to be fired, but whoever this offensive line coach is, he fucking sucks, man. Shedeur Sanders damn near was almost having his back broken in half every single damn play. Now, the run game, it wasn't too bad. It's just that Sean Lewis, for some reason, just chose not to try to run the football. Outside of the first quarter, we barely saw Colorado try to even run the football. And look, I know the offensive line sucks. And when you got a shitty offensive line, you're also not going to have too much success running the football. But you got to try to at least try to be balanced. You got to at least try to call a complementary style game. Now, the defense had their best performance that we've seen since Colorado beat Nebraska the second week of this season. This defense forced a lot of turnovers early in this game. Travis Hunter came away with 2 interceptions really early in the first half. Jordan Dominic was getting consistent pressure on UCLA's quarterbacks. The defense played a fine game. You definitely can't pin this loss on Charles Kelly. There's only so much your defense can do when your offensive line can't get anything going and they can't give your quarterback time to throw the football. If your offensive line can't protect, then your offense isn't going to have much success. It doesn't matter how good Colorado's receivers are and how good Shedeur Sanders is if the offensive line cannot fucking block, man. I'm really irritated because at this point, Coach Prime should be giving me and you a call to come up there, fly us out to Boulder, Colorado, so we can try out for the offensive line. Hell, I'm not big. I'm not 300 plus pounds, but at least put me back there at fullback or running back, and I can do a better job pass blocking than what some of these cats have been doing for Shedeur. I mean, it doesn't even look like these dudes were even trying. And I get it. UCLA has a really good defensive line. They got several NFL guys on that defensive line. Number 15 is a damn nightmare. And Shedeur Sanders is definitely going to have to hit that damn ice tub. And he's probably going to need a lot more than that. He's probably going to need some damn Robertussin, some Neosporin, because he was getting battered the whole entire game. I don't even know how the hell he kept coming back into the game looking for more punishment, man. It was suicide out there watching Shedeur Sanders play behind this offensive line. And I just hope to God that Shedeur Sanders can just stay healthy and he doesn't suffer any major injuries, because this offensive line is the kind of offensive line that's so bad that it can get your quarterback killed. Literally, man. I can't believe this. And I mean, like I said, going back to Sean Lewis, he can only call so many plays where the offensive line, you can't get that weakness exploited. But eventually, the defense is going to play up. They're going to force you to have to beat them downfield. And when UCLA was able to force Colorado to have to take chances downfield, Colorado wasn't able to convert because Shedeur Sanders didn't have time to throw the football. It's just simple, people. Football is still a game that's won or lost in the trenches. Whether you won in the middle or not, if you can't block anybody up front, if your defensive line can't get penetration on the opposing team's offense, more times than not, you're not going to win a lot of games. And Colorado is getting into the meat and potatoes of their schedule. They're going up against some of the better teams in the Pac-12, and the better teams in this conference are really good up front. Colorado isn't. Colorado has a JV offensive line out there. They're not even going to have too many opportunities to even come close to being able to become bowl eligible unless they're able to find a way to beat both Arizona and Washington State. But that's about it. Utah is going to rough these boys up front. Oregon State is going to beat the shit out of this offensive line up front. Colorado can't protect Shedeur Sanders. And Coach Prime says it before every single game. When they ask him, hey, Coach Prime, what do you guys need to do to win this game? We need to make sure that we can protect number 2 and keep him upright. As long as we can protect 2, we got a chance to win any game. But it's like, when you can't protect Shedeur Sanders, you're not going to have too many opportunities to even keep games close. And yeah, Colorado did cover, but it was a backdoor cover. I picked them to win and cover, but I didn't think they were going to cover this way. I thought that this offensive line would be a little bit better. But even expecting this offensive line to be below average is having too high expectations. I don't know how many lineup changes they've done up to this point this season, but they need to keep rotating guys in, playing guys at different positions until they can find an offensive line combination that can give Shedeur Sanders more than 0.2 seconds to throw the damn football. Congratulations to UCLA on the well-deserved victory. I mean, they absolutely destroyed and dismantled and obliterated Colorado up front in this game. You can blame Sean Lewis all you want to. Yeah, you can say he should run the football more, but Colorado hasn't had success running the football for nearly the whole entire season. If this offensive line can't pass block, what makes you think they're going to be able to do a good job at opening up running lanes for these running backs? This offensive line is just garbage. And it's a really big handicap trying to find ways to win games when your offensive line is just this bad and it sucks water through a garden hose, man. And then my last thing that I got to get off my chest is that Shedeur Sanders targeting penalty was some absolute bullshit. He led with his shoulder. It's like you can't even let these guys play anymore, man. You can't even You can't even lay a big hit on somebody without it getting called for targeting or a penalty. He obviously led with the shoulder. Now, I don't think you should be penalized if you lead with the shoulder and accidentally the crown of your helmet hits somebody in the damn chin. Like, that's an accident. If it's accidental content, I don't think that it should be called for targeting. Targeting should only be called if you come in leading with the crown of your helmet. If you're leading with the shoulder and then the crown of your helmet hits a guy in the chin strap in the process, you shouldn't get a targeting penalty for that, man. And you definitely shouldn't get ejected from the game for that. Let me know what you guys think about Colorado's 28-16 loss to UCLA. Are they going to be able to beat Oregon State? Are they even going to be able to win another game this season? Because ever since they started out 3-0, they've won one of their last 4 games that they've played. Make sure that you guys check out the JT Sports Podcast. We're not just a YouTube channel. Every video that's uploaded on the channel is available in audio format on all podcasting platforms. Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you get your podcast from. The JT Sports Podcast is available. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys shortly with another episode of the JT Sports Podcast.